So, what we're gonna do today is take a time out and to learn about who's who. Take a time out to, learn history. Learn who's who, find out why this is going, what's going, why.
Who knows the first two laws that Hitler implemented? Who knows the first two laws? Before the Nuremberg laws. Before that, we're talking about years before it. Hitler first comes into power. What's the first two laws? Okay, I'll save you the time. Rule number one. No more pornography. No more homosexuality. None of that garbage. Not allowed. Berlin, in the 30s, in the 20s, was the Sodom and Gomorrah of the day. Homosexuality, pornography, all the bestiality, all the garbage of the world, that was the capital of the world. He outlawed it. You're no longer allowed. Closed all the bars, all the gay clubs, all the production, which were all run by Jewish people. Unfortunately. Second rule, you're not allowed to charge interest. No more interest. Now you would think, why? What does he care about interest? Well, because all the people that had the money, that lent the money out, were Jews. So he said no more interest. Why? Because of the high interest that the Jews charged people was so high, it ruined, it destroyed the economy in Germany. They destroyed, just like they destroyed Russia a few years before that, through their communism over there. Jews destroyed Russia. Not Goyim. Jews destroyed. Communism is by Jews. Well, don't let anybody confuse you. You look at history, Karl Marx, all the other Reshaim, they're all Jews. Wicked, but nonetheless Jews. They destroyed Russia, and he wrote in chapter 2 of Mein Kampf, they destroyed Russia, now they're destroying Germany. Go to the store to buy bread, you had to take a whole horse carriage full of money. By the time you arrive at the store, it wasn't enough. Why? Because the inflation rate was so high. The bread became so much more valuable and your money went down. And at that time, the Great Depression was happening around the entire world. Everyone was in a financial collapse. America was a financial collapse. England was a financial collapse. Germany collapsed worse than everybody else. But after he passed this law, within 6 years, Germany became the leading, wealthiest economy in the world. They called it a financial miracle. Why? They were the only ones that were bold enough to stop interest. This is one of the biggest reasons of why he hated Jews.
Why? You gotta ask the questions. You can't just sit there, all of y'all just, I don't know, y'all into your own lives. Meanwhile, you got people running circle around you, making rules around you. That's what you like. I don't like that.
Iran has destroyed at least 13 bases. The Pentagon is lying to us. Iran hit the Gerald Ford and took it out of commission. They told us about the Gerald Ford that there was a fire in the laundry room. Well, it's being repaired for 2 weeks. You're telling me that the biggest and most sophisticated U.S. carrier, which is the biggest and most expensive class of ships that we have, the Ford class carrier, you're telling me that got taken offline for 2 weeks because of a fire in the laundry room? That's not true. Simultaneously, 13 U.S. bases in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, elsewhere, Qatar, they have been taken offline. This is more damage to U.S. air bases, I believe, than any point during the Iraq War. These bases have been rendered inoperable. The damage is extensive. They're underreporting the extent of it. And they're actually putting up soldiers now in hotels because they can't stay at the bases. There was an attack at a base in Saudi Arabia that killed 13 people today.
Since I got older, I got very political. I was never like this, but for some reason, nowadays that's what catches my attention, really, because that's what matters. That's what's real. That's what's right. It's not watching baddies and you into your own lust. Meanwhile, the real world is going on around you. You don't even know you about to fall in hell. You feel me? So I've been doing my research for a minute, in fact, for a long time, a decade plus, and I'm still growing into it. So you'd be surprised at what I know. But as we progress, we just gonna, give details, little detail by details. Each one teach one. That's what it's about. If I know something, I teach you. If you know something, you teach me, and we'll teach other people. So that's
the Bible warns us that Israel of today, I want you to understand this, is not Hebrew, nor of the sons of Jacob. I want to say it again. The modern day state, it's not a nation, of Israel. They are not Hebrew. Neither are they the sons of Jacob. When you try to tell somebody this, it's like there's cognitive dissonance. They can't think through the statement of what you're saying. They automatically think that any person that joins the nation and becomes an Israeli is actually an Israelite of Old Testament, but that simply is not true. The Ashkenazis, they are not Hebrews. If you don't know what that is, I want you to look it up, and I want you to educate yourself. The Khazarians, they are not Hebrews at all. I want you to look it up and educate yourself and understand that the majority of the people that live in the modern day state of Israel are actually Europeans, and they do not practice anything from the Bible. The majority of them are absolutely atheist. Can you imagine?
That we're dealing with, that's what's going on in this day. Why the war, and who's the war for, and by whom? So yeah, so basically these are the people. So it's good to know, right, and not to be ignorant of things. So yeah, so now the real question is, we gotta find who God's people are, right? Because they somewhere on earth. Not everybody evil, so they're here. So God's children is somewhere on this earth, right? I know what's going on. I know the truth, but what I like to do with y'all, right, what I like to do is give out a little bit, in fact, not really, because I really want you to do your research. So I'm never going to tell you the exact answer, but I will lead you to a more profound understanding. So yeah, so if those people are not whom they are, so
what I refer to as the most shameful day in the Jewish history, the most shameful day in the history of the Jewish people. Israel began carpet bombing Gaza, and on the first day of what was to be a 21-day attack, they dropped 100 tons of bombs. Okay, a 1-ton bomb will decimate an entire city block. Gaza is one of the most densely populated places in the world. 800,000 children live in Gaza. 11:25 is exactly the time when the morning school shift and the afternoon school shift change. So all the kids are in the streets. All the children are on the streets. That was the moment decided by the decision makers in Israel to begin the attack. This was the first day of a 21-day slaughter that had absolutely no...
Let the world change, because we all need that. Everybody's working for chump change. Everybody's working for... It's crazy. You work until you die, and you don't have time to really, you got to push yourself, because you really don't have time, especially those people that work 12 hours or more, people with kids, and all that stuff going on. So this is a hard time. So the best thing I can do is bring a light to the situation.
The President of the United States, by taking sanctions off of Russia on their oil, and then you have a friend that you belittled and made fun of is offering you drones that protect your troops. Russia, not only have you taken sanctions off, Russia has given intel to kill American soldiers. This president does not know the difference between friend and foe. Does not know.
The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over. What exactly the United States does next is unclear. But what is clear is that we, as Canadians, have agency. We have power. We are masters in our own home. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We can control our destiny. We can give ourselves much more than any foreign government, including the United States, can ever take away.